Every Venom in the world needs an anti-venom, and in the MCU, we have Mulligan's Toxin, who is poised to step in the third movie as the anti-hero we all would like to see in a much bigger role. However, his plans might be spoiled, as Spider-Man is also in the mix, as a face-off between him and Venom might be looming in the distance. Two powerful characters who might be forced to join forces if the big baddie, the god of the symbiotes, Null, decides to invade Earth.
Never wound.
When asked about a third Venom movie, everything pointed out the fact that if the second movie is a success, then a third movie will, without a doubt, be on the way. Before we continue, we should warn you that there will be spoilers up ahead, from both Venom movies and the latest Spider-Man movie. And with that out of the way, let us continue. And with that in mind, and see how the second movie of the franchise turned out, and both of the post-credit scenes are taken into account. The one from the second Venom movie, which clearly set up Venom to make an official debut as part of the MCU, but also the Venom post-credit scene in Spider-Man No Way Home, which saw him get pulled right back from where he came from, but not without Venom leaving a part of him in the MCU, which is a huge breakthrough, as it could mean a lot of things, and him already being a part of the MCU in some shape or form is just one of them.
Outstanding! Now, let's bite all the heads off and pile them up in the corner.
The confirmation about a third Venom movie has also been given by Spider-Man director Amy Pascal, who said that the third movie of the franchise has been given the green light, even before the third Tom Holland movie premiered on the big screen. However, no additional comments were given after that, which hints at the fact that the movie, despite being confirmed, is still a long way off. The movie could take a couple of years to make, but we are in no hurry, as there are so many other movies coming our way, which we will see other Spider-Verse characters make their debut as part of the MCU, or the Sony shared universe. We are looking at you, Morbius. Venom Anti-Venom, the unofficial title standing right now for the movie, will probably be the biggest Venom movie when it gets released, as it will follow the likes of Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, and even more projects. And the events that are about to unfold in said movies will surely have a big impact on the third Venom movie when it comes out, with all of the movies taking place in the same universe as Eddie Brock's Venom playing some part in the upcoming adventures of the symbiote we are so fond of.
I don't believe in karma.
We were able to witness the connection between Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Venom grow as time passes by, with the two coming closer to each other, which we think will also be the case in the upcoming third movie, as they will face even graver threats, and the bond that they have will probably be the strongest weapon in the arsenal, especially if Michelle Williams' Anne gets to become She-Venom at some point during the movie, with a much bigger screen time than what the two previous sequels gave her. This will likely be the case, as she has expressed feelings toward the fact of her having the symbiote for her at some point, and how she would like to have a bigger impact on everything moving forward, with Michelle also wanting to explore more of her character's alter ego, She-Venom, and how she would eventually cope with things. Another interesting thing about the third Venom movie might prove to be the Ravencroft Institution for Gifted Individuals, as the second movie showcased some of the personalities kept there, with Shriek being the only one to be given more screen time as Cletus' girlfriend and fiancé by the end of the movie. Unfortunately, it seems like it is the end for Cletus and Shriek. However, not the end for the symbiote Carnage. The third movie will certainly introduce even more of the villains already known from the comics, which Venom faces, with all of them making their debut as side characters because, after all, Carnage is still not out of the picture. The second Venom movie was not that long. However, it was filled with fun and chaos, with everything culminating in an epic battle between Venom and his offspring Carnage. One of the key players that will have a major role is Stephen Graham's Patrick Mulligan, who, by the end of the movie, is seen hanging off of the rafters at the cathedral where the Red Wedding took place, with blue color glowing out of his eyes, due to the fact of Carnage leaving a piece of himself in him when he is defeated by Venom. Whenever the term anti is being mentioned, the first thing most of us think is some kind of a cure for something, which is why we think the title will stay as the one we have right now, because the third movie will likely showcase Mulligan's transformation into Toxin, Carnage's offspring, which now lives in him, and according to many, the third biggest symbiote in the Marvel Universe. So yes, he is a big deal. In the comics, Carnage doesn't die, but instead teams up with Venom to destroy Toxin, as he sees his offspring as a very dangerous threat to the world that needs to be stopped. However, we don't think that Carnage of the live action will have the same story as his comics counterpart. The most interesting thing about Venom, anti-venom, will probably be how the movie will handle Toxin and Patrick Mulligan's status as a cop, which was one of the biggest problems of him becoming Toxin in the first place, as despite him being evil in nature, the status of his owner eventually makes him a hero in his own right, a very powerful symbiote that was rising through the ranks so quickly in the comics. Thus, it will be an interesting thing to see how the live action will treat him, a friend or a foe. A tough thing to determine right now, however, we think he will eventually be the staple anti-hero character the franchise needs moving forward, especially if the third Venom movie intends to meddle with the likes of Morbius and the other members of the infamous Sinister Six villains, together with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, of course, which we think is bound to happen now that Venom has officially been given the right to be part of the MCU. The Venom and Spider-Man face-off is, after all, the biggest one in both runs of the characters in the comics, a showcase we were able to see in Sam Raimi's trilogy. But we need more, so much more of the two, especially now with Tom Hardy in the role and with so much on the line. Lastly, we think we should mention this, as the third Venom movie might up the action to the max if the writers of the movie intend to adapt the wacky side of the comics and bring the father of all symbiotes, Null, with the King in Black arc being adapted for the live action where Cole invades Earth with an army of symbiote dragons. But in all fairness, we think this would be a little too much for the MCU or the multiverse to handle, so it is a very unlikely thing to happen. But we can never say never, as much crazier things are about to happen in the upcoming years, with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness being the movie to put everything in motion.
How are you?
We are Venom.
On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the Venom franchise so far? Where do you think the third Venom movie will take us next? Do you think it will take place in the Sony Spider-Verse? Or are we looking at a much bigger picture with him joining the MCU and confronting the other characters who are already a part of the MCU? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.